Don't the American people have a right to know what specifically was targeted without revealing methods and sources?
Well, I don't think so, but we will tell you that probably it was going to be the embassy in Baghdad.
Did they have large-scale attacks planned for other embassies? And if those were planned, why can't we reveal that to the American people? Wouldn't that help your case?
I can reveal that I believe it would have been 4 embassies.
President Trump talking to Laura Ingraham. You can see that interview again tonight at 10 p.m. This, as the week has come to an end, we've taken the off-ramp, at least the U.S. and Iran have so far. We'll see what comes next. Let's bring in our panel. Charles Hurd, opinion editor for the Washington Times, Leslie Marshall, Democratic strategist, and Steve Hayes, editor of The Dispatch. Steve, the end of this week, obviously the administration is still explaining about the imminence, but overall, 30,000 feet, where are we?
Yeah, sort of amazing that we're still having that discussion. If Qasem Soleimani was not plotting against the United States in the lead up to the strikes that took his life, that would have been the change. He has been plotting against the United States literally for 20 years, longer even, and we saw an increase in that plotting in the weeks and months before the United States took him out, including attacks on the U.S. Embassy, which he allegedly orchestrated, where they were, in effect, firebombing the embassy. We saw the death of a U.S. contractor. There was plenty of reason for the United States to take him out. It's a good thing that they did. It was a smart decision by President Trump, I think. The problem is, the president's having a difficult time convincing people about the nature of the threat because he has lied so many times throughout his time in office. He lies day in and day out about things large and small. And over the course of that time, you see this erosion of credibility that has people unsure of what to believe and what not to believe, including the people who are trying to make his case for him.
But you're saying believe him here.
Well, we don't know whether to believe him here, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah, I don't think that any normal people are having a hard time understanding why the president decided to make that strike in Baghdad. He killed a terrorist who was a top general in the world's largest state sponsor of terrorism. I don't think people have any problem with that. In Washington, because everybody is so conditioned to calling Trump some trigger-happy maniac, they seize on this word imminent. And they're trying to drill down on this. And I think that outside of Washington, nobody is even thinking about this. They're like, no, he killed a terrorist. Great job. Thank you.
All right. What about, to Charlie's point, about where Democrats are on this and how they're talking about this process? I should point out, when I was interviewing Senator Jones, I read from Hogan Gidley's tweet about things that happened under the Obama administration. Gaddafi was killed, but not technically by U.S. forces. It led to his death. Anyway, where Democrats stand, Leslie?
Well, Democrats stand, and not just Democrats. As we know, we have Mike Lee and Rand Paul, who are Republicans, who say, why wasn't the imminent threat discussed in Congress the way we're hearing the Secretary of State today and the way the president is speaking? What were the specific targets? If you're not going to give that information to the American people, you at least should give the underlying intelligence to Congress. Where does it leave us? A lot of Democrats are talking about the concern. A lot of people are discussing things as if, Iran's really standing down. Are they? Suleimani was a terrible man, a terrorist. 2 administrations, George W. Bush and President Obama, both chose not to take him out because they thought strategically it would be a mistake. Secondly, you have terrorists out there that are going to use this to recruit, sadly. We're going to have cyber attacks, possibly. We have to worry about Navy attacks.
Yeah, we don't know what we don't know.
The people of Iran who get hurt, not the mullahs, by these sanctions, are they going to turn from being moderate and protesting against the government
or they sit
to being
down at the
against
table
America?
There's a lot of good. There's a lot of good that can come out of these strikes. There's a real deterrent effect that I think is now the Iranians are waking up and saying, okay, we are really at risk if we don't.
But it's a very bad look for Democrats that the first day back in Congress, what did they spend the day doing? Condemning Iran? No. Condemning Soleimani? No. They spent the day trying to on a meaningless resolution meant to curtail the president's ability.
But it also matters that the president tells the truth when he makes the case.
I want to move down because we've got an election that's happening on the Democratic side, and we have to decide where the chips fall. Here we go, $100, Canada Casino.
Yeah, I'm going 20 on Buttigieg, 20 on Biden, 20 on Sanders, 10 on Warren, 10 on Klobuchar, and 20 on a convention fight. I think the person I don't feel good enough about there is Klobuchar. I think she's probably that's a strong 10 for her.
All right, Leslie, this new Des Moines Register poll is interesting. Sanders is obviously ascendant.
Yes. Yeah, well, yeah, and Elizabeth Warren has descended. I'm still putting Biden at the top. I'm giving him $70, and I'm giving $30 to Sanders. I think that Biden will pull it off, that he will be the nominee, whether he gets Iowa or not.
I was going to put everything on Marianne Williamson. And
She's
then
left the race today.
But now I have to change my bets. And this is the first time I've put Bernie at less than about $90. I say 25 on Biden, 25 on Bernie, just because the rest of the field I think is hopeless, and $50 on a brokered convention where they will try to pick somebody that is like Biden except less insane.
Well, I think that's what Mike Bloomberg is actually playing for, a brokered convention. All right, here's the deal. I got a lightning winner and loser. I know your loser's long. Go.
Well, Representative Doug Collins is my winner for what seemed like a genuine apology for saying earlier this week that Democrats were, quote, in love with terrorists. We don't see genuine apologies. I appreciate that he gave one. My loser last week was the Dallas Cowboys. My loser this week is the Dallas Cowboys. Oh. They hired my old Green Bay Packers coach, Mike McCarthy. By all accounts, a good guy. I don't think he's a great coach.
Winner or loser?
My loser is Congressman Steve King, who on the House floor spoke about how there is no white nationalism, and George Soros is giving money to all the Democrats. I'm a Democrat. Where is my check? I want to know. My winner is Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who does not have cancer. She's cancer-free, and that certainly is a win.
Winner, Nick Sandmann, for winning the settlement. We don't know how much it is, but he stands to win further settlements from other news organizations.
That's from CNN.
Who slandered, from CNN, who slandered him. Loser of the week is, without a doubt, Nancy Pelosi. Disastrous couple of weeks. Her strategy she's actually lost members to the Democratic Party, to the Republican Party. She had members desert her on impeachment, and she actually came to the point where she had lieutenants openly ragging on her about her strategy of sitting on the articles of impeachment until now. She got nothing for transmitting them, so that's an admission by her, I would say, that it failed.
Although those chairmen walked it back in a tweet.
They did walk it back
later.
very quickly,
very quickly.
abruptly.
Panel, you are the winner. You got around the horn.